Welcome to WrestleRecap. I am Dylan Graves, once again being joined by John Sutton, and we are here to recap and review all the events that took place at Clash at the Castle, Scotland. If you want to support WrestleRecap, you can like, share, and subscribe. You can comment down below and let us know how we're doing. You can find us on Facebook at WrestleRecap, and you can find us on X at WrestleRecap Podcast. But with all that said, let's get into it. So Clash at the Castle kicked off with showing us Cody Rhodes, AJ Styles, Bayley, Chelsea Green and Piper Niven, Damian Priest, along with the Judgment Day, and Drew McIntyre earlier in the day. I guess I'm not sure if the Judgment Day was there. I just assumed they would be. I didn't include that in my notes. Nevertheless, what I did include is that the theme song for Clash at the Castle is a banger. I have added it to my Spotify playlist.
Nice.
We then got a video package intro to Clash at the Castle featuring Drew McIntyre. And we're told that they have 11,391 fans in attendance at the OVO Hydro Centre in Glasgow, Scotland. I also noted that we got Michael Cole, Corey Graves, and Wade Barrett on commentary, which I would have to say is probably like the perfect commentary team for what WWE has to offer right now.
I don't know. They could have thrown Booker in there.
I wouldn't have watched. If I turn on,
here we go.
If I turn on a non-NXT PLE and Booker is on commentary, I'm not watching it. I refuse to listen to that man for 3 hours.
I sent you some videos this week already about that stuff.
Yeah.
That's funny.
It's not. He's annoying as hell. But the first match of the night was AJ Styles versus Cody Rhodes in an I Quit match for the undisputed WWE Championship. The crowd sings Cody's song and then continues to sing to Cody during the intros. Cody starts the match strong to take control, and he hit a snap power slam and went for the disaster kick, but AJ turned it into an inverted atomic drop to take control of the match. When AJ took control, the crowd started singing something, but I couldn't understand what it was. Cody fights back with a bionic elbow and a drop kick to the outside before he has referee Dan Engler ask AJ if he quits. Obviously, we're like 5 minutes into the match, so AJ says no. Cody starts digging some tables out from under the ring. Those are some mystery Mouska tools that are surprise tools for later. Cody throws AJ into the steel steps and has the referee ask him again. AJ still says no. He then sends AJ over the barricade and into the crowd as they continue to fight. Cody uses a fan's drink as a weapon, but AJ takes control as they head backstage. However, it doesn't last long. But while they were back there, AJ used a cable in what looked to be like a production area to like gag Cody for a moment before they headed back out into the arena. When they headed back out into the arena, the crowd started singing to Cody again, but AJ tried to take control and got shut down right away while the crowd chanted that AJ sucks. Cody locked in a figure four in the middle of the ring, but of course AJ doesn't quit yet. Cody tries to do a suplex over the ropes, but AJ countered it into a suplex of his own, and they just kind of spilled out of the ring. AJ would hit a fireman's carry neckbreaker onto the announce table, followed by a brainbuster onto the announce table. He then had the ref ask Cody if Cody wants to quit 2 different times. Both times Cody said no. AJ then bounced Cody's head off the ring bell and proceeds to go exchange some words with Mama Rhodes, who is front row in attendance tonight. We then see that Cody's been busted open, so naturally, when he banged his head off the ring bell and went to go talk to Mama Rhodes, Cody was doing a little something with
Going goth for a little bit.
yeah. So Cody's wearing the crimson mask. At least for a short time, it dries up pretty quick. But I noted that AJ has firm control as they're back in the ring, and he hits another neck breaker. And Cody says absolutely not when asked if he quits. Cody starts to fire up, but AJ stops him with a drop kick. AJ bounces Cody's head off the stairs, and the crowd chants, "Fuck you, AJ." In response to this, AJ just flips him off. AJ proceeds to set up for the Styles Clash off of the steel steps, but Cody counters it into a backdrop. Cody starts to fire up again, but AJ unleashes the phenomenal blitz. However, Cody counters the ending with a disaster kick. He then sets up for Crossroads, but AJ counters it with a Pele kick into DDT, and Cody still refuses to quit. AJ put a steel chair around Cody's neck and hits a knee drop on it, but Cody still won't quit. AJ starts beating Cody with a kendo stick before forcing Cody to look at his mother and telling him to say it, but Cody just yells, "Hell no!" AJ takes the referee's belt and begins whipping Cody with it, but Cody still won't quit. AJ locks in a face lock, but Cody still won't quit. Man ain't got no quit. All gas, no quit.
He ain't gonna quit. He's staying on business.
Cody passes out, so AJ wants the win, but the ref tells AJ that he has to say that he quits. So AJ goes and gets a bottle of water, and the crowd starts chanting H2O as he pours it on Cody. AJ then heads under the ring and takes out a very familiar velvety bag that typically has thumbtacks in it, but AJ says he's got something else, and it turned out to be handcuffs. AJ cuffs Cody and begins beating him with the kendo stick some more, but as we said, Cody ain't got no quit. He ain't no quitter. AJ goes back to exchanging words with Mama Rhodes, and Mama Rhodes slaps AJ. AJ feigns hitting Mama Rhodes with the steel chair, but he obviously doesn't do it. AJ then goes back into the ring and hits Cody with the steel chair and very shoddily wraps his forearm in what looks to be like just a cheap chain while they talk it up to be really strong on commentary.
Took him a while just to get it wrapped.
Yeah, didn't want to stay. AJ goes for the phenomenal forearm with the chain-wrapped forearm, but Cody throws the chair into AJ's face, causing AJ to fall through the table that Cody had set up earlier. There's that mystery mouse tool. Cody gets himself uncuffed and uses the cuffs as a weapon. He then hits a Cody cutter and hulks up before telling AJ, "You're gonna say it." And then he hits the triple crossroads with the last one being onto the chair. And Cody tells the ref to ask AJ if he quits. AJ does not. Cody then handcuffs AJ to the middle rope and begins unloading with the steel chair, yelling at AJ to say it with each hit. The ref finally asks AJ if he says it, and he starts to, but then he says, "Screw you, Cody," or "Screw you, Cody Rhodes." At this point, Cody goes out to the ringside and gets the steel steps and gets them into the ring. And as he raises them to hit AJ, who has backed himself into the corner, AJ finally says it, and he yells out that he quits. But Cody still hit him with the steel steps anyway. So Cody retains the title, and then in the post-match, as he is, for the most part, walked back up the aisle towards Gorilla, Solo Sikoa comes out and kind of like just comes up behind him and claps for him or whatever, and then Cody turns around and they kind of stare down for a second before the Bloodline come out from behind to attack him. And who would make the save? Who? None other than the best team to never officially be a team but still have a shirt are KO.
Stop it.
Never. They come out to make the save and even the odds, and the heroes chase away the bad guys and then come back to the ramp to celebrate. And Randy takes a little bit of a prolonged look at the championship, perhaps a tease of things to come. I missed getting an RKO shirt. I looked yesterday to try and buy one because I wanted to get the Wyatt 6 shirts, and it's not even on the website anymore. So, big Sag.
Mm-hmm. Maybe one day. Again,
I mean, now it
probably
would have to be secondhand, and I'm not trying to buy someone else's. I'm not gonna buy it from a third party either and pay more. It's already expensive enough. But I thought the match was decent.
Match, how it ended was kind of weird.
I mean,
Getting beat with all these things, and then, at the end, you're about to get hit with something, and then you just out of fear of getting hit with it, you quit.
yeah. I mean, they're trying to make the stairs feel like a very powerful weapon. Like, we don't regularly see people get hit with the stairs. I don't know. I feel like they gave AJ a lot. Like, they had AJ do a lot with weapons to Cody, all for Cody to still not quit. So they're obviously building him up to be this strong, like, can take one hell of a beating kind of person. But I don't know.
Setting
I
up
felt
for the
like
bloodline because they're pretty ruthless. I would assume.
Yeah, I mean, I see that. But it just felt odd at times, like the pacing of the match, when they've got AJ just repeatedly beating down Cody with basically no response. But then again, at the start, Cody was on top for quite a bit too, just not in the same capacity.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not saying it's a bad match. It was decent enough. It was a good opening match. Compared to everything else on the card, I'd say it was probably the best thing that they could have done to open the show with.
Yeah, for sure.
But then, once again, even with Peacock Premium, have no fear, we still got ads. So we had a little ad break in there. And then we got a video package for Jey Uso. Yeet.
Yeet.
And then we got some more ads. And then we got a video package for Unholy Union, that being Elba Fire and Isla Dawn, because it was now time for the Women's Tag Team Championship match, a triple threat tag team match featuring Unholy Union taking on Shayna Baszler, taking on Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark, taking on the defending champions Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair. I noted that Shane and Zoe finally have a Tron for their team, so it's only taken like 2 years, probably longer. I also noted that Jade has her face paint and hair done akin to a Viking shield maiden, and Bianca has her braid to look like a dragon's tail. Not important, just thought it was interesting. Shayna, Isla, and Bianca start the match, with Bianca dispatching Isla to the outside before taking control over Shayna. Belair goes for the corner-mounted punches on Shayna, but Isla gets back involved only to be shoved off again. Bianca rolls Shayna up for 2 before she ends up hitting a moonsault on Shayna for another near fall, with Isla Dawn making the save. Following this, Jade, Elba, and Zoe all tag in. Elba and Zoe both go after Jade, making it a 2-on-1 fight before Jade picks Elba Jade overpowers them and hits them both with stinger splashes, and then picks Elba off of the top rope and catches Zoe, who was going for a crossbody, and she turns it into a combination of a Samoan drop to Elba and a fallaway slam to Zoe. Jade and Bianca hit some double team moves on Elba and Isla before hitting tandem vertical suplexes on Shayna and Zoe. At this point, Shayna, Zoe, Elba, and Isla all kind of huddle up on the outside as the crowd chants, "Shayna scares me." Shayna and Elba then work together to take out Bianca, while Isla and Zoe team up to take out Jade. And the challenging teams continue to work together until Zoe decides to take out Isla with a blindside punch. I noted that Zoe hits a dope springboard-ish move on Isla. I'm not really sure what it would be called or what it exactly was. I just remember that it looked really cool. And it looked like something that I hadn't seen before. Zoe then pins Isla for a near fall after a double team move. Elba tags in and takes out Zoe, Shayna, and Bianca. She then takes out Shayna and Zoe with a dive on the outside and hits a senton on Shayna for a near fall, with Bianca Belair saving the match. Despite this, Unholy Union maintains control, but Shayna met Elba up top to deliver a superplex, while Isla turned it into a powerbomb on Shayna at the same time. Bianca hits a superplex to Zoe and lands incredibly hard on her neck. It looked rough. It looked really bad.
It looked like it hurt.
Yeah. Isla Dawn seems to have injured her elbow for real, as I saw her quite regularly, like, trying to, like, move her arm back and forth, like, checking on it and whatnot. Jade gets the tag, and she slips, going for the springboard into the ring. Now, online I saw everybody talking about many different things. Initially, seeing as I watched this after the fact, I thought she was attempting something different than what she'd attempted before, and it just didn't go her way. But what she did is she attempted something that she does in every single match when she gets the hot tag. So, I'm not inclined to blame her skill level when it's something that she does literally every single match. In this case, I am going to have to, in my opinion, side with the fact that the ropes were loose, which was possibly the cause for this. Not entirely sure. I did see where someone had zoomed in when AJ was entering, that it looked like the ref was kind of showing AJ that there was some extra play in the ropes.
Didn't he slip at one point too?
That I'm not sure. I actually forgot to, like, pay attention to what they were doing with the ropes. I mean, when he was going for the phenomenal forearm, he got to the top rope, and that's when he got hit with the chair. But other than that, I don't know that he really did any springboard maneuvers.
I was gonna say, he got to the top rope, and that rope, with how giving it is, I don't know if he could have got injured falling back if he wasn't more aware of it. Because it didn't seem like anyone else really got told about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I know that on social media, everybody, the tribalists, had to be out in full force for this, with ones from AEW who would have previously cheered for Jade, now hating her because she went to the quote-unquote enemy. And then there's people from WWE's side just making excuses for it. I mean, at the end of the day, if she screwed up because of lack of training, that's on her. If it was a mistake because the ring crew didn't do the job correctly, then it's not on her, and everybody should shut up. Seeing as there were multiple problems with the ropes, I'm willing to bet that it probably wasn't on her.
I just, when I saw it, I was like, that's got to be ring crew not doing their job.
Well, I mean, botches happen. One happened on Raw. Obviously, one happens later in the show as well. Like, mistakes happen. It's live action. You can't hide when the mistakes happen when you're live, so you just got to take it and roll with it, which they did. But yeah, I don't know. I also saw that apparently in AEW they use the ropes are like cables, so the way that they move is different than in WWE where they use actual rope. So I mean, that was one of the things people have said would make a difference for her, but as I already stated, she does this move every time she gets a hot tag. So
she's done it plenty in WWE.
Right. At this point, we've seen her do it at, what would this be, the third PLE that she's done it at? So
yeah, I believe so.
Like, I'm not buying that it was a skill issue. Like, everybody is susceptible to screwing up a move, especially one like a springboard move where there's just so many variables that come into play that just the slightest of a misstep and it screws the whole thing up. So I'm not out here for the haters. I'm out here to say that, you know what? Shit happens. Let's move on. And the tribalism is fucking stupid.
Agreed. Fully.
Jade takes out Isla with a spine buster before catching Elba to turn it into a sit-out powerbomb while giving Shayna a big boot at the same time. Shayna breaks the pin with a knee strike and locks in the Karafuda clutch on Jade, who seems to tap out. Michael Cole and Corey Graves also acknowledge it and also acknowledge that the ref doesn't see it. And then we see that Jade is kind of tapping on Shayna's arm again while referee Jessica Carr was staring right at them. So seeing as that wasn't the way the match was supposed to end, and with how light the taps were, I noted that I wonder if Shayna got too low and was actually choking her out. Because, like, how else are you going to communicate that? You got to do something to let them know.
Yeah, I guess.
Granted,
they probably did it, and the ref probably whispered or something into Shayna to let up because she was probably actually choking her.
Right. Like, it's hard to say because they're doing very real moves in a manner that makes it so that they're not done completely in the real way. So, I mean, it's very possible that Shayna could have just got too low and went too deep and was actually choking her out, at which point, yeah, Shayna would need to be let know, like, hey, you got to lighten it up a little bit. And as the person who's being choked out would be the only one to know, how else are you going to tell them? You're going to, like, start tapping on them or something. So.
Yep.
And obviously when that's a stipulate or a win condition, you can't just blatantly start doing it. So you're going to have to do it, try to be discreetly. But again, cameras all over the place. So, yeah, I don't know.
Just kind of is what it is in the moment.
I mean, it gave them a storyline to go with now as well. So maybe it was done on purpose for that reason too. Who knows?
Especially between Bianca and Jade.
What do you mean?
Never mind.
You mean Bianca or Jade and Shayna?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and it's become a talking point because everybody saw it. So Shayna mentioned it on Raw about the fact that she's pretty sure that Jade tapped out. So they should still have a claim at the tag titles, which could lead to the first feud for Unholy Union.
An actual feud too,
Yeah, I
not
mean,
just thrown into a mix randomly.
yeah, they need to start putting actual storylines behind this, which I think it seems like they might be. I hope.
God, well, after the match.
Yeah. Jade starts to power out, but Shayna hangs on, causing Jade to start to fade. Bianca breaks the hold with a 450, and her knees landed directly on Shayna's back. Like she overshot the 450. Whether that was done intentionally or not, it still looked like it hurt. Zoe goes for a springboard something, but got caught by a spine buster by Bianca. Or got caught with a spine buster by Bianca. Jade and Bianca hit their tag team finisher on Zoe, but before Bianca can go for the pin, Isla comes in and shoves Jade away and hits Bianca with a German suplex. And with both of them over by the apron on the opposite side of the ring, Elba was able to hold them both at the apron, allowing Isla Dawn to pin Zoe for the win. And so Unholy Union wins the titles. And then Jessica Carr tried to raise Isla's arm, and she quickly pulled it back and tucked it in close. So I'm thinking she definitely got some sort of injury for real there, because, as I stated earlier, she was like favoring it pretty much throughout a good, like, I'd say a solid 70% of the match. And then
Yeah.
seeing that made me think that it definitely wasn't just a storyline thing, but like an actual thing.
I guess we'll find out moving forward.
Yeah, well, I mean, they didn't have to compete on Monday, so that would give her time. If it's something major, I think they probably would have dropped the titles already. But at the same time, the titles aren't, as bad as it sounds, they've not been made to be a big enough deal where if one of the two champions is like legitimately hurt, they can just take a month off and nobody's going to know. Like, nobody's
Yeah.
going to be like, where are these titles at? It's not like with Logan Paul where they're like, why is the US title not on TV?
Yeah, this one's more like no one's paid attention to it for so long that they don't even realize it would be gone.
Pretty much. Uh, Elba Fire and Isla Dawn celebrate with their families at ringside post match. And the crowd chants, "You deserve it." We then get another ad break because got to get them ads in. Granted, I think all the ads were for WWE things, so it's not as bad. It's at least relative to people who haven't already seen the ad a million other times.
Yeah.
Following the ads, we get a video package for Sammy versus Chad Gable, and that's because it's time for that match. I guess before that, we didn't go over our predictions. So for where is it? For Cody versus AJ, we both went with Cody. So we each got a point for that. For the triple threat women's tag match, we both expected Jade and Bianca to win. So neither of us got a point there. I guess, and before we moved on, you had mentioned that you had something else to talk about for the triple threat tag match?
Oh, I mean, the only thing I really have to say about the match is that this finally could set up the Bianca Jade riff of how they lost the titles and how they're probably going to blame each other for it.
Yeah, it could. I was surprised to see them lose the titles.
I think everybody was.
Yeah, I
There was
definitely.
no story build up or anything. It was just three teams in a match, and then a random team came out on top. Well,
Well,
hometown
the
team.
hometown team came out on top because they had to give the fans one hometown victory since they were going to bury the other two.
Yep.
But I did not expect Jade and Bianca to lose these titles this quickly. I figured they would for sure hold them back until like maybe the Rumble, and then that would lead into Mania with these two being like a big headline matchup. But apparently that's not going to happen. Maybe it comes to head for SummerSlam.
Yeah, I don't know what their plan is. It probably is SummerSlam, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, only time will tell. Getting into the Intercontinental Championship match. I noted that it was just Otis and Maxine coming out with Gable, no Akira Tozawa. The crowd sings to Sammy while we see that the decibel meter on the Tron is pinging back and forth. They introduced that on SmackDown, and it's probably going to be a new thing moving forward for the like out of country events. International events, that's the word I was looking for. International. Words hard. We get a Nightbird tease during Sammy's entrance that said, "You were warned, told to prepare, you will behold, the massacre is coming."
Dun dun dun. And you know what? It makes sense after watching last night, or 2 nights ago.
Yeah. Commentary acknowledges it in a very unsettling manner. But forget all that because the crowd is singing to Sami Zayn. It's a back and forth start with the crowd chanting for Otis. Sammy gets a couple of arm drags in before Gable picks the leg and goes for an ankle lock, but Sammy gets to the ropes before he can lock it in. Sammy sends Gable outside and starts to go for a dive, but Gable gets out of the way, so he does the springboard backflip off the ropes. Gable convenes with Otis and Maxine before Sammy rolls out of the ring, at which point Gable slides back into the ring to avoid Sammy. Sammy shares some words with Otis and Maxine and heads back into the ring. They slap each other a little bit in the ring before Gable takes Sammy down and locks in the ankle lock, but Sammy gets to the ropes again. Gable begins to target Sammy's arm by kicking him in the shoulder when he's hanging onto the ropes. I also noted that there is a green shirt guy in attendance, but it's not the green shirt guy.
I did see that.
Gable hits a Northern Lights suplex and bridges for a near fall. Gable has control at this point, and the crowd chants for Otis again. Gable hits the corner-mounted punches as the crowd chants for Maxine now. Gable...
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Gable keeps turning his attention to Otis and Maxine to tell them things, which allows Sammy to fight back into the match. Sammy sends Gable to the outside and hits a springboard moonsault of sorts on Gable. Sammy goes for a diving nothing, which allows Gable to catch him with a drop kick for a near fall. Sammy hits a Michinoku driver for a near fall of his own before trying to go for the blue thunder bomb, but his arm gives out on him. Gable hits a power bomb and a diving headbutt for a near fall. They each hit a pair of German suplexes before trading standing switches, leading to Sammy hitting a half-and-half suplex for 2. In this suplex, Gable landed directly on the crown of his head. So, yeah.
Now he's going to win the Olympics with a broken freaking neck.
Apparently. Perk Gable.
Here we go.
They trade blows in the center of the ring before Gable takes Sammy down and locks in a crossface. Sammy counters it into a crossface of his own, but Gable escapes and locks in an ankle lock. Sammy rolls out of it and into a pin for a near fall. Gable leaves the ring and grabs the IC title before giving it to Maxine. Everyone's just kind of confused as to what he's doing at this point. But Gable gets Sammy onto the ropes and distracts the ref, trying to get Maxine to hit Sammy with the title, but she won't do it. So Gable calls her to the apron to scold her for not cheating for him. While she's up on the apron, Sammy goes for the haluva kick, but Gable dodged it, and Sammy almost kicked Maxine, but he stopped himself in time. However, while he was stopped frantically to not hit Maxine, it allowed Gable to hit Chaos Theory for a near fall. Gable then leaves the ring to scold Maxine some more, leading to Otis getting in his face. Sammy dives over the top rope, and he ends up hitting Otis because Otis they said that Otis pushed Gable out of the way, but it looked more like Gable just jumped out of the way to me. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
But then Gable takes them both down with a moonsault, so yeah, Gable don't care about these guys. That's been well established.
Oh, yeah.
Gable went up for another moonsault, but Sammy dodged it and hit an exploder into the corner. Sammy goes for the haluva kick, but his leg gives out on him, and Chad rolled out of the ring anyway. Gable sends Sammy into the barricade, but Sammy stops himself by jumping on top of it. This allowed Gable to grab Sammy's leg and pull him down, causing him to fall ribs first across the barricade. While Sammy is draped across the barricade, Gable locks in an ankle lock, but Sammy gets out of it by rolling through once again, and this launches Gable, where he then basically hits a chop block onto Maxine's already injured leg. This caused her to fall down, which leads to Otis getting in Gable's face. Gable rolls into the ring and distracts the ref, but Otis is hesitant to hit Sammy. Otis finally winds up to hit him, but Maxine yells to Otis, so he stops. At this point, Otis just picks up Maxine and carries her to the back, which gets Gable's attention. And Sammy takes advantage of this and hits the haluva kick to win. I also noted that while Sammy is headed back up the aisle from the win, Gable is just chilling in the ring, stewing over the loss. And Sammy also gestures that Gable is out of chances, which it's about time.
How many times do we need this rivalry to keep going?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sick of every Monday these two come out and talk at each other and then have a match that does absolutely nothing for us, because then the next week they just come out and talk some more. So I'm hoping that this is actually the last of it. But I don't think that it ended the way it should have. I personally still think that Gable should have won. And
he should have won the championship, but Jesus Christ, how many more? He's starting to turn into Jey Uso. Tell me I'm wrong.
I mean, you're wrong. Chad Gable can at least perform.
He can, but
Jey Uso just panders. But, so looking at our predictions, I had predicted Chad Gable to come out on top, while you predicted Sammy to come out on top. So you get a point there, and I do not.
Yay.
Oh, also, we never came back to, or I guess if we did, I never did anything with it. But the bonus points from Queen of the Ring Round 2. I had predicted Nia to beat Jade, which she did, and you had predicted Jade to win, so I got a point there. And then we both predicted Tiffany to beat Bianca, which did not happen, so neither one of us got a point there. Just so that when we come to the end of this and I say our totals, it makes sense.
Oh, it makes sense.
Oh, it's true.
It's flipping true.
You know what else is flipping true?
What?
The ad break that came after this match. Yes,
Yes.
sir. Following the ads, though, Kathy Kelly was with Unholy Union, and Isla says that they'll be holding on to the titles for a while. Will they, though? Will they?
Probably not.
Or was this win just simply because they had to give Scotland a hometown win? You be the decider.
Yes.
We then get a video package for Piper Niven, followed by a video package for Bayley, because it's now time for Piper Niven to challenge Bayley for the WWE, the Double E Women's Championship. The crowd is absolutely dead for Piper's entrance, and Chelsea Green even acknowledges this by yelling at them that this is their hometown hero, which it worked because not only was it part of what Chelsea's character would do, but they were legitimately dead for this. Like, she's supposed to be the hometown favorite, and they just did not show her any enthusiasm.
They didn't really do it on the pre-show either, though.
What was on the pre-show?
Not the pre-show, the little pre-PLE thing they did. The press thing.
Oh, I didn't watch that.
Yeah, they were not very lively to her.
I noted that the crowd is basically dead for Bayley's entrance as well, and that she really needs different music. Her music sucks, and it sounds like heel music, and she really should not be calling herself the role model, because that's a very heel thing to do. Like, nothing about her character is a face other than the fact that she's pretending to be nice. I guess I can't really say pretending. She's probably a nice person.
I was gonna say,
She's probably a pretty nice person, but like, the only thing face about her is the fact that she's acting nice. The character she's portraying, as in like the quote unquote role model, down to her music and the way that she fights in her matches, it's all heel. Like,
yeah.
she has not changed enough since breaking from Damage Control to really not still be doing the same heel persona that she was doing with them.
It'll all change. Not the music, but
I mean, it should. Even with Def Rebel, they can come up with something better than this. They can come up with something that doesn't sound like music that the bad guy would have.
it'll still suck.
I mean, most likely. But the crowd sings to Bayley, and Bayley even points it out to Piper that they're cheering for her. So it's like, what is going on? Piper was supposed to have like the home field advantage, and it's just not working for her. Piper overpowers Bayley early and hits a power slam before Bayley rolls out of the ring. Piper then distracted the referee, which allowed Chelsea Green to slap Bayley. Bayley got in Chelsea's face, but Piper came to her rescue right away. Back inside the ring, Bayley dodges a running splash to take control. Chelsea Green tries to get involved again, but Bayley stomps on her fingers, leading to Chelsea complaining to referee Charles Robinson by grabbing him and even shoving him. So, Lil Nate, as he was once called, throws her out of the match. So Chelsea Green heads to the back, and this gets Piper's attention, which allows Bayley to take advantage and roll her up for a near fall. The crowd finally shows some support for Piper as she hits a cannonball on Bayley outside of the ring. Piper hits a running senton back inside the ring for a near fall. She also suplexes Bayley into the ring, like from the apron, and they land, or Bayley landed right on her tailbone, which I've like done a front flip and landed on my tailbone. Not fun. I can't imagine that being suplexed like that and landing on your tailbone would be fun.
No, probably not.
Yeah. This got a near fall for Piper. Bayley counters another suplex into an almost brainbuster of sorts, but Piper rolls out. Bayley hits a rolling senton of her own across the back of Piper, and then hits a diving elbow drop for 2. Bayley charges in and gets caught with a Uranagi, followed by a running senton for a near fall. Piper then goes up to the second rope, and Bayley goes up with her, but Piper shoves her down. However, Bayley goes up again, and this time she hits an avalanche Bayley to belly. At this point, a mysterious masked female comes running out from the back. Not sure. You have any idea who that could be?
Chelsea Green.
But how do you know? She was wearing a mask. I mean, Michael Cole seemed to be pretty convinced that it was her, but
Yeah.
Corey Graves and Wade Barrett both pointed out the obvious, that she's wearing a mask, so how do you know?
You can never know.
You'll never know. You don't know until you know, and then you know.
I know.
Yeah? Do you know what The Rock is cooking?
I smell it.
Oh, you do.
It's a
You
smell.
smell what The Rock is cooking.
It's a smelly smell that smells smelly.
Wow. I don't want to be smelling what you're stepping in.
Cow shit.
So anyway, this masked individual distracts the ref, which gives Piper time to recover and kick out at 2 once Charles Robinson finally starts counting. Bayley goes for a rose plant, but Piper turns it into a Piper driver for a near fall. Piper goes for a splash from the second rope, but Bayley gets her knees up and rolls out. I guess Bayley gets her knees up and then Piper rolls out, because then Bayley rolls out too and runs into a sidewalk slam. Bayley dodges a running senton and goes for the rose plant again, but Piper counters it with a headbutt. Bayley goes for a crucifix pin, but Piper stops it and starts to go for a Samoan drop, but Bayley turns it into a crucifix driver and picks up the win off of that. The crucifix driver win, it was very abrupt. I was not expecting that to be the end, but it wasn't bad. I don't hate
something
it.
different.
Yeah. Like, I don't know that I've ever seen anyone actually do a crucifix driver. Whether or not that was just what Michael Cole called it because of how hard they hit, I don't know. But like, I've seen them do like the crucifix pin where they go up and then drag them down, but to turn it into like a full-on driver like that using Piper's momentum for the Samoan drop to like flip the center of gravity, I don't know that I've seen that before.
I don't think I have.
But nevertheless, it was a pretty predictable outcome, which is exactly why we both ended up getting a point from that.
Yep, for sure. Another random storyline that picks up 2 weeks before the match and then ends right now.
Yep, pretty much. It was just to get the Scottish stars on the card in Scotland, which that's good for them. It gets them on the show, but they could have at least cared enough to do storylines to make us believe that it was more than just shoehorning them onto the card.
Yeah, I'm scared. I'm scared for Bash at Berlin.
I'm definitely anxious to see how they get Gunther on the card because he's just going to be facing for the title at SummerSlam.
Yep.
I really wish that his title match was at Bash in Berlin simply because it's a lot more fun to watch someone win in front of their quote-unquote hometown audience. Gunther is Austrian, not German, but it's pretty much as close as he's going to get to Austria.
Ever.
So it's a lot more fun to watch him win win the title than retain the title in front of the hometown audience.
Yeah, it's a more organic reaction.
So I'm just very curious to see how this goes. Because surely Gunther's going to challenge or be in the World Heavyweight Championship match at Bash in Berlin. Unless they have Gunther win Money in the Bank. And then he beats Cody at the Bash in Berlin. Or he uses it to win the World Heavyweight Championship at the Bash in Berlin. But then he would have to lose at SummerSlam, and I just don't see him losing to Damian Priest. I just don't. I also don't know how they're going to, or why they would book Gunther and Damian Priest for SummerSlam when it's two heels. Where you can do that, much like we just did, when one of them is the hometown boy.
Yeah.
So
we'll have to see what happens when they continue the storyline for Gunther.
Yeah.
And one of the championships.
I want the world title on Gunther, and then I want a nice long reign for him, and I want the Ilya program. I want to see Ilya versus Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. I need that in my life.
Get it.
What's that?
We'll more likely get it.
Oh, I'm sure we'll get it eventually, but I need it. I need that shit pumped right into my veins.
You have a problem.
Nah. I was just one of those crazy freaks that watched NXT UK.
You have a problem.
Nah, dog. I'll tell you what does have a problem. Me with all these ads. Because we got another ad break for you. And when we come back, we got to see the reigning world's strongest man. Because Mark Henry hasn't been the strongest man in probably 2 fucking decades. So he been lying to us. But Tom Stoltman is in attendance. And I have no idea if that's how it's actually said. I heard it then, but I do not remember if that's how it's said. But that's how I'm reading it.
He's one of the world's strongest men. I don't know if he's the...
No, I believe he is the reigning world's strongest man. I think that's what they said. He's a multi-time. I know that for sure. But I'm pretty sure that Michael Cole said that he's the reigning one. If you want to Google that up, we won't get very far because then we just get a post-show graphic like for the Clash at the Castle post-show. And they messed up the graphic and put Corey Graves on it instead of Wade Barrett. So then we had a nice little segment with Wade Barrett laughing at Corey Graves, telling him that he gets to do the show while Wade and Michael Cole can go to the pub.
Oh, yeah.
And Corey did the boo-boo face.
It's weird. So Tom Stoltman, he did win it.
Is he the
Oh,
current reigning one? Like the reigning?
yeah.
Okay.
I thought this said he was Canadian. I'm like, why is a Canadian at Clash at the Castle? But he's not.
The real question is, why is the national animal of Scotland a unicorn? But at the same time, why isn't every country's national animal a mythical creature?
Bro, he's not even Scottish. He's British. Oh, wait. He's from Scotland. There it is. Okay.
What an insult. Like, what an absolute insult. Calling a Scottish man British. Which, according to Wade Barrett,
did this.
According to Wade Barrett, we now have to consider Drew McIntyre British. Because Wade Barrett said that that if Drew won, he was Scottish, but if he lost, they would be disowning him and he'd be British.
Isn't Wade Barrett from Wales anyways?
I believe so.
So why would he care?
He's just making jokes. Actually, isn't Wade from England?
Wales is pretty much England.
It's part of the UK. It's not England.
It was...
Half the world was part of England at one point. That doesn't mean that everybody is English. Yeah, he's from England.
Penwortham, United Kingdom.
England.
Don't ask me where that is, though.
But he's billed from Manchester.
Yeah.
Anywho, following this, you know what else is billed?
What?
My Peacock Premium that still doesn't keep me from having to watch ads.
Still on that.
Because we got another ad break. But when we come back from the ad break, we're told that Money in the Bank qualifier matches begin on Monday Night Raw. And then we get a video package for Drew McIntyre. And they tease Broken Dreams at the beginning. And I noted that he better have it for his entrance. We'll circle back. We'll circle back to that shortly. Because it's time for the match. Drew
Biggest
McIntyre.
Disappointment would be to not hear that.
Yeah, not him coming out without Broken Dreams would ruin the entire match for me. So it's a good thing that he had it, right? Right.
110%.
Say right.
Committed to it.
Say right.
I said, yeah. I just said I'm 100% committed to that. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You're right.
So it ruined
Jesus.
the whole match because he didn't have it. I was big.
Everyone
Sag.
had broken dreams but him.
Right. I was big Sag.
Big sad.
Yeah. He did get a special entrance though with the I'm probably going to butcher this. The Inverary and District Pipe Band playing Scotland the Brave. And then he didn't come out to Broken Dreams. F. Let's get them Fs in chat, boys.
F.
Yeah, like if you've made it this far into the podcast, which most people don't, if anybody actually has made it this far, drop an F in chat.
Good for you if you have, though.
Forever.
You're a real one.
Yeah, you a one. You the one. You're the
Probably
real tribal chief.
Probably talking to myself at this point, but you did it.
Yeah. We will love you forever.
I guess I'm loving myself forever.
Yep. Hashtag forever alone. I noted that the crowd is loud and proud for their fellow countrymen, with the decibel meter bouncing off of 106 decibels. I also noted that it's a shame he's going to lose since he won on Monday night.
It always works that way.
Yep. If you win the go-home show, you lose the main thing.
Like, say his name and he will show up.
He did show up. I sent you the video. He showed up.
Oh, I know.
NXTNA, baby.
Here we go.
Say his name and he appears. Anyway. The crowd sings to Drew, and they boo Damian Priest, and the boos drown out Priest's entrance music. What else? The other thing that drowns out his entrance music is the crowd singing to Drew again. Like, the crowd wanted no part of Damian Priest, and it was great. Exactly the things that we expect to see from a crowd like this.
Yes.
They kind of do like a test of strength of sorts to start, with Drew coming out on top. Drew clotheslines Priest out of the ring and dives over the ropes on top of Priest. Priest takes control on the outside, though, and they trade control back and forth before Drew hits a spine buster for a near fall. Priest hits a flatliner, followed by a corner elbow splash thing, and a Falcon Arrow for a near fall. Drew goes up for a dive, but Priest dodges it. However, Drew still manages to hit a Michinoku driver on Priest for a near fall. Drew sets up for a Future Shock DDT, not to be confused with whatever an Aftershock would be, whatever Michael Cole was thinking.
Yeah.
But Priest rolls out of the ring. However, Drew follows him out and bounces his head off of the announce table before sending him into the Prime hydration station.
Finally.
Yeah, someone had to do it. Priest,
Conveniently waited to the end of the show.
hey, as long as it gets done. Priest kicks Drew as he's on the apron and then goes for a springboard dive of some sort and gets his foot caught in the ropes, causing him to dangle there vulnerable. So this is the other botch with the ropes. However, as I noted here in my notes, I'm not entirely sold on it being a botch because the way that Priest went to spring off was off of the second rope. For someone who's going to jump to the outside, why would he go off of the second rope? Did he miss time to jump altogether?
Or he thought he was already on the top rope and he jumped. Kind of like how you think you're on the bottom step and you step and there's no ground there.
I mean, fair. But I don't know. It looked like it was probably a botch, but at the same time, he pushed off of the second rope, which you would expect not to work out for him. So I'm not necessarily sold that it was a complete botch with him doing that, despite how dangerous it is. But I would definitely guess that if that wasn't a botch, he wasn't supposed to be as stuck as he was, to the point that Drew had to literally help him get out because the ref wasn't strong enough to help him.
Yeah, it looked like he hurt his foot on that too.
Oh yeah, I mean that could absolutely have fucked his ankle. Which is why it's like, yeah, it's probably a botch because I don't know anybody who would willingly possibly shatter their ankle
for a move.
Right. Other than the crazy guys that wrestle for $25 in a hot dog at your local gym. Like basketball gym, high school. There you go. High school gym. That's the words. English
there
hard.
There you go.
But the crowd isn't a fan when Drew helps him out. But Drew just says that he can't win the title with Priest tied up like that. So that was why he was helping him out. Which, good heads up thinking on Drew's part to give a reason why he's helping. Other than we kind of got to do this match. So I got to help him. Where instead he works it in. Because he couldn't win if Priest is just hanging like that.
Nope.
And despite being a heel, that's one thing that Drew has always been focused on with this character is that he wants to win by beating them. He doesn't want to win the easy way, so to speak, despite the fact that he did get some help occasionally.
He just wants to be champion.
Yeah. Drew hits a suplex and gets it near fall, but Priest powers back into the match with a big boot and a massive clothesline. Priest goes for the South of Heaven chokeslam, but Drew counters it and posts Priest before hitting a Future Shock DDT for a near fall. Michael Cole gets it right this time.
Yes.
Damian Priest goes up top, but Drew meets him up there and looked to be going for a white noise, but Priest got out of it and hits a Razor's Edge for a near fall. Priest has been and continues to favor the ankle that was stuck in the ropes at this point. They trade punches in the center of the ring, and Priest comes out on top of that and starts landing some kicks before catching a Glasgow kiss. Priest fires back with some more kicks, though, and Drew just refuses to go down, so he hits Priest with a neck breaker. Drew kips up and fires up to hit a Claymore, but Priest rolls out of the ring. Drew hits him with another Glasgow kiss, and he then Claymores Priest through the barricade. Drew gets Priest back in the ring and goes for another Claymore, but Priest catches him with a South of Heaven for a near fall. They end up on the top turnbuckle, and Drew headbutts Priest down. Damian Priest responds to this with a kick, and then he cries out in pain. The ref goes to check on Priest, but Priest just shoves him away, and thankfully the ref didn't just throw out the match right there. But so Priest goes up and he hits a Hurricane Rana on Drew, but he ends up catching a Claymore when they get up. But Priest kicks out at 2, which lots of finishers being hit again. We're back to this.
Classic Drew match.
Yep. They end up in the corner, and the ref had to just dive out of the ring basically to avoid being crushed. And it looks like he tweaked his ankle a little bit when, like, we just see him, like, kind of reach down and, like, shake his ankle a little bit.
Leave it to the refs to be softer than cotton.
Yeah, soft as silk.
There it is.
As the ref was back up on the apron about to get into the ring, Drew pushes Priest, who then gets ran into the ref and knocks him off the apron. Drew then goes for a Claymore, but gets hit with a power bomb. Priest goes for the South of Heaven, but Drew hits him with a Claymore. However, with no ref, only the fans could count. The fans counted to, I think, 9 before an official runs down the aisle and counts to 2, but then stops. Why would they stop?
Who could stop?
Who?
Who?
I'll tell you who. It's the best in the world, baby. CM Punk.
His arch nemesis. It's like Batman and Joker at this point.
Whoever would have guessed?
He said he'd find him.
Yep.
Screw him at any opportunity he'd get.
For sure.
Here we are. And he didn't even get booed for it either.
No, he didn't. It was hilarious. He did, but not overwhelmingly enough.
Yeah.
But following this, Drew turns his attention to Punk, who hits him with a low blow, or should I say, kicks him. Priest then gets up and hits a South of Heaven chokeslam to pick up the win. Punk celebrates with fans, and he says that he thought he was going to get jumped, while Wade Barrett just goes absolutely off on commentary. So, like, The rumor is, and it might actually be more than just rumor, it may very well be fact, but apparently both Drew McIntyre and Wade Barrett legitimately do not like CM Punk.
So Wade Barrett's reaction was
I
an
think his
honest reaction?
I think his reaction was a very genuine reaction. Like, I think that was like a shoot promo on CM Punk.
Dang.
Yeah.
Are we about to get some pipe bombs thrown in here if they keep talking
Maybe.
personal again?
But the last thing that I got here in my notes before we kind of talk about this main event match, in the recap package that they put together, they made sure to show us that Randy was looking at Cody's title. Like, they slowed that down and zoomed in on Randy looking at the title. So I definitely think that they're teasing a future match between them, which they got to give it to the fans.
Good.
I agree.
Get my boy in a title picture.
But overall, I thought the last match was good. The botched dive, whether it was botched or not, most likely was. With that aside, it was still a good match. Got a little finisher heavy for my liking, but it's already well established that the Claymore doesn't get it done 9 out of 10 times, so you take what you get.
Just like one Crossroads can't beat anyone anymore.
Yeah.
It's got to be 3 of them.
Yep. They got to do the super duper version of whatever it is.
The Super Saiyan.
Yep. Looking at our predictions, I predicted Damian Priest would win. You predicted Damian Priest would win off of a CM Punk interference because you wanted to be a fancy boy and get that extra half a point.
Yeah, buddy.
So, as we come to the end of Clash at the Castle, I had 3 predictions right, worth a total of 3 points, bringing my total up to 18 points. You had 4 predictions correct, plus your little caveat for Damian Priest. So I'm going to give you that extra half a point because you did predict that. So
Yes.
You're getting 4.5 points, which is bringing you up to 18.5.
Dang, no, about whopping half point.
Yeah. Well, had I not gotten that 1 point from the Queen of the Ring, you'd be 1.5 points ahead now. I was actually ahead going into this pay-per-view, or premium live event.
Yeah, come on now.
By half a point. But, that math ain't mathin'. You're at 19, not 18. You're a full point ahead.
Even
There.
better.
That math's a lot better. So overall show rating so far, I have given WrestleMania 4 stars. Well, you gave WrestleMania 4.5 stars. With Backlash, we both gave it 3 stars. And then King and Queen of the Ring, I gave it 3 stars. You gave it 3.5. For Clash at the Castle, I'm going to give it a 3.5. I thought the match quality was overall better than Clash at King and Queen of the Ring, and the crowd was better than at King and Queen of the Ring. So with both of those factors, I don't think that it's WrestleMania quality, but I think that the crowd being kind of the middle ground between what King and Queen of the Ring, or I guess King and Queen of the Ring was a relatively dead crowd, but the crowd not being as good as Backlash, but still being pretty solid, with the arguably better match quality, I feel comfortable giving Clash at the Castle the 3.5.
I'm gonna have to give it 3.5 just on pure showmanship, I guess. There was a surprise winner in there, which it's not always bad. It was a little shocking, which is a shocking factor, isn't bad. Uh, the crowd obviously being way better than the last time influenced it a little bit, and it nothing really seemed too out of place for me. I felt content with how the show went. Definitely felt like a PLE and not just another weekday show.
Yeah, the severe lack of having people come out to cut promos for 30 minutes just to give us 5 minutes of match and then another 30 minutes of promo. Yeah, definitely makes it not feel like a weekly show.
Yeah, but
hey, they still got us to have ad breaks.
Yeah, well, we still need to get these storylines in check here. We need storylines for PLEs.
I
not
agree.
Just random matches.
I agree. I think they're doing too many PLEs at this point because they're trying to do their normal ones and then also throw in these international ones. And all the international ones do is disrupt good storytelling in exchange for a cheap pop for a hometown person. So
yeah, I can agree with that.
I do think they're doing too many. I would like to see them dial it back. I mean, even once a month is arguably too much because there's just 4 weeks is enough time to build a decent enough story, and then you can stretch that obviously to make it a better story. But I mean, some of these stories just came up, like you said earlier, 2 weeks ago. Like,
some of them are gonna be done now.
Yeah.
After the PLE.
Right. Like, some of them we'll probably never talk about again. Except it might get brought up in 2 years as like a little tidbit when they cross paths again in a battle royal.
Yep.
But before we wrap up here, I got a notification on my phone from the Bleacher Report that Roman Reigns has unfollowed Solo Sikoa on Instagram.
Dun dun dun. Here we go.
Yep.
Survivor Series. Mark it.
I mean, we're still a ways away, but I'm still confident that that's the play.
Wow. What's the next pay-per-view?
Money in the Bank.
Oh, yeah.
Money in the Bank, then SummerSlam, then the Bash in Berlin.
Cody versus Solo with Roman interference. Because it's looking like Solo and Cody next.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll find out Friday.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to be AJ next.
No.
AJ quit.
I don't know. Yep.
Granted, he's obviously still under contract with the company, but you know what this frees him up for?
His TNA run.
No, baby. It frees him up to go back to where it started for him, where he first became big.
Yep.
Let's get that one last TNA World Heavyweight Championship title run, and then let him bring that to the main roster.
Elevate that title.
All these people that live in the closed world that is WWE viewership. There was an AJ Styles before WWE, believe it or not.
Oh, I know that.
I know. I'm talking to any of those few people that probably don't make it this far in the video, but if they do, I'm talking to them.
Yeah, buddy.
And if you already know as that prospective viewer, good for you. Proud of you.
You did it.
Yeah.
Not only did you know that tidbit, you made it this far.
Yeah, you made it this far in the video.
I'm going to say it again. Good job.
You know what else you can do for making it this far in the video? You can like, share, and subscribe. You can comment down below and tell us how we're doing. This concludes the Clash at the Castle recap, though. I've been Dylan Graves. He's been John Sutton. You got anything to say?
Adios, muchachos.
You heard it here first. Adios, muchachos. Goodbye.